A report on the independent investigation into Laerskool Queenswood pupil Latoya Temilton's death is expected this week. The 12-year-old died at a school's leadership camp. It's alleged Temilton was swimming unsupervised when the incident happened. The grade 7's death sparked outrage among parents at the school and prompted the Gauteng Education Department to hire an independent law firm to probe the circumstances around the tragedy. The firm has completed investigations, but the outcomes have not yet been shared with the family. Latoya's sister, Palesa Temilton, joins me now in studio to share this family story. Palesa, very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
It must be an incredibly difficult time for the family. I mean, you laid your sister to rest last month on the 27th of June in Mpumalanga. It's a long wait to now try and get feedback and some closure on what exactly happened. How is the family coping?
The family is not coping. We are not coping at all. It's hard, but at the end of the day, we have to try and mourn my sister and grieve, just so we can be able to also release her, just so she can rest in peace. But it hurts that we still don't really know what happened at the camp. We don't know where the teachers were. We don't know how long Latoya spent in the pool. We just don't know anything.
Yeah. Without any clarity at all and wondering what may have happened as the family tries to find some closure. I know that there were many conflicting statements. I mean, at one point you heard that she had bumped her head and that she had been injured. That in itself must be very, very hard to try and comprehend because you're still waiting for answers.
Yeah. It was very hard because at first there was an incident that happened with Latoya at school where she fell and hit her head. So when the principal called us to tell us that Latoya hit her head, we panicked because this is not happening for the first time. We asked him how severe it is, and he said it's very severe. So we just didn't know what to do because it wasn't the first time where Latoya had hit her head on the floor. So when we got to Vakhabiki campsite, to our surprise, Latoya had drowned and she didn't really hit her head anyway. She was bleeding from the nose and her ears, so that's why the back of her head was filled with blood. But she didn't have any kinds of injuries that would suggest that she hit her head.
Recalling that description must be very, very hard for you to have to speak about. When you first learned that she had hit her head, the very first time before this unfortunate tragedy, what was the reason for that call?
So we were sitting right at home and my mother was planning on fetching her at school at 5 o'clock, 4:30 around that time. So the principal called my dad to tell him that Latoya has been injured and it's severe. So we left the house in a rush. We didn't even look at they gave us a newsletter to state that they were going to Vakhabiki campsite and stuff. But when everything happened in a rush, I didn't even get time to look at that paper just so I can put in the location of the place and go there by ourselves. So, we left the house knowing that Latoya had hit her head, and about 25 minutes later, the principal called again, but my mom was calling the principal multiple times and he wasn't answering. So when the principal called, he said that Latoya is no more. Latoya has passed on. Okay, Latoya has passed on. My mom said, can you please get the location of where you guys are so that we can be able to come there, The principal just went mute. He didn't communicate any further details of where they are and everything. So I decided to take my mom's phone and call the principal and actually tell him that you can't drop such news on us and not send us a location or tell us what to do. So 45 minutes later, he sent the location and we had hope, when we were driving to the campsite, we had hope that maybe there has been a mistake. Maybe we will find Latoya maybe critical, but she would still be alive,
Yes.
you know. We had the hope, but then when we got there, she was covered in foil next to the pool.
It must have been a very, very difficult drive there. Palesa, what I'm referring to, you make mention of how it wasn't the first time you'd received a call from the principal to say that something
yes.
had happened to
Yes.
Latoya. The first time that you heard and learned that she had bumped her head, what was the reasoning behind that? Did she fall? What had happened?
Okay, so for the first time, I don't know the details because it was 2022 and I was working at that time. So I wasn't living with them at home. I was at my grandmother's house. So I didn't get the details of what happened, but all I know is that Latoya was, I think, at the playground. They were playing and then she hit her head and they had to rush her to hospital. That's all I know. I don't know the details because I wasn't there when it happened.
Palesa, I must commend you. I mean, it must have taken an incredible amount of courage to have to come to the studio and talk about your late sister as your family now waits for the outcome of an investigation by a law firm which was roped in by the Gauteng Education Department. That law firm was meant to do its work for 7 days. That was the deadline. And then the outcome of that report would then be given to you and your family. Has that happened?
Okay, so the 7 days part, I understand why they couldn't release the report in 7 days. That is because we were still in Mpumalanga. I mean, after the funeral, there's still other things to do.
Yes.
We can't just bury Latoya and come back straight like it was a distant relative. We still had other things to do, you understand? So the law firm had to wait for us to come back to Pretoria, and then that's when they came on the 6th of February, and that's when they told us that on the Monday they would release the report, but we're still waiting.
As you wait, have you had any communication from either the law firm or the education department or the school?
Not that I know of.
And how is this wait now affecting you and your family?
It's affecting us negatively because, I mean, when the law firm came to see us at home, we had hope. We had hope that, okay, maybe we will get some answers and we will finally get closure. Because how are my parents supposed to move on from this? It's not easy for them to not know what happened to their daughter.
Yes.
They need to know what happened because they left Latoya under Laerskool Queenswood's care. So we still don't know what happened, what's going on. We still don't know when the report is going to be released. They said that they will wait for the forensic report before it is released. But they did say that because the forensic report takes time, they will release a preliminary report where the forensic side of things is not there, and then they will come back again to release a report that has everything. So we still haven't seen that report because, I mean, we need to see the report first.
Yes.
And if they have the forensic report too, they need to get permission from the family to release the forensic report because it is personal at the end of the day.
Very much so.
What happened to Latoya is personal, and we need to decide if we want the public to know or not. Yeah.
With all of those scenarios that you point out, have you yourself as a family tried to reach out to the lawyers or reach out to the education department or even the school principal just to get an understanding of what's happening, when this report will come, or some information about what exactly accurately happened on that day?
Okay, on our side, we haven't been trying to reach anyone. We have been, though, recently, yesterday, that's when we tried to plan to contact the law firm. Yeah.
And, you know, with trying to piece everything together and also recalling incidents with your sister, missing her at home, the massive gap that she leaves behind, how has that been like?
It's not easy because it's now quiet at home. We can feel that Latoya is not here anymore because she would be around the house dancing to her TikTok videos and everything. So now we can feel that Latoya is not here anymore. Yeah.
With the people who are supporting you, I mean, have you managed to get some idea of what may have happened from other people who were there? Or is it just you and the family now in the dark completely as you try and get some clarity from the investigators?
It's just us as a family in the dark. We don't know what happened, and there's no one trying to tell us what happened, because at the end of the day, we can't question the kids.
Yes.
We cannot question kids, because the kids who saw what happened to Latoya, the kids who were there, they are also still suffering some form of trauma, you know. So we can't want to, at the end of the day, yes, we are hurting, but we can't want to question kids. Yeah, I mean, they're kids as well,
Yes.
and Latoya was their friend at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What sort of, are you going for any sort of counseling as a family as you try and, you know, piece yourself together, heal and try and keep hopeful?
Yeah, so we are going for counseling. The last session that I had was on Saturday, and we have our next family session tomorrow. So, yeah.
In your appeal, I mean, you come here representing your entire family, of course, your parents and the whole household and other distant relatives, hoping that some clarity will come from this investigation. What sort of appeal would you make to the Gauteng education officials, the law firm, the school? What would you say on behalf of your family?
Okay, so we would really appreciate it if we can know, even if it's small bits and pieces of what happened to Latoya. We just need that closure as a family so that we can be able to try and move on, and so we can just let her go, because it hurts so much to mourn and grieve, but you don't really know what happened. So yeah, it would be really nice to just get some form of information on what happened to her. Yeah. And to the Department of Education, I would really like to say that may Latoya be the last child who drowns. I plead with them to take more precautionary measures when kids are going on trips or camps where there's going to be swimming pools involved. Rather, you let kids swim in small swimming pools that are not deep, and kids return home safe at the end of the day. So, yeah, because it's not nice to send your child on a school trip and then the next day she's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How has this affected you personally as you wake up every morning and remembering that your sister's no longer with you?
I'm not okay, but I'm trying, and I need to be strong for Latoya, just so I can spread the word on what happened to her, just so I can alert other parents to be more careful about their kids going on these school trips. I mean, kids do want to go on the school trips, but then I think as parents we need to try, and the parents need to try and just make their own kids safe, because at the end of the day, the teachers, they're not doing anything. So it's not easy for me, but I am trying. I can feel that Latoya is not here anymore, because she would be bothering me, wearing my clothes. So yeah, I can feel that she's not here anymore, and I'm only left with boys. Yeah.
How are they coping?
They are trying. My little brother is not okay, because he goes to the school where him and Latoya used to go to the same school. So he still goes to the school. He's not okay, but he says he's fine because he's still young and he doesn't understand exactly what's happening. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Palesa. Thank you for coming through to speak to us,
me.
and really wishing you and your family some comfort and strength during this incredibly difficult time, hoping that this outcome will be given to you and your family on an urgent basis, because you need the closure. That was Latoya Temilton's sister, Palesa Temilton, coming on to put on a brave front, really, detailing a very, very personal and tragic event which transpired, hurting her and her family.